Chapter 5, 1920. The communists forced my mother to work harder. Slowly, my mother grew weak from the forced labor. One morning she muttered, "I might not come back home tonight." I was scared because I had heard that many women died at the work camps. "Mom, don't go to work today. If you do, I'll go with you," I said. But she went outside and lined up in the streets with the other neighborhood women. They carried shovels, hoes, and axes for work. "Attention!" a communist soldier shouted. "Stand in a straight line." All the women were pale and weak from work and hunger, but the soldiers pointed their rifles and ordered the women around. I clung to my mother's legs and cried loudly. A skinny, ugly shoulder rushed over and scolded me, making his face like a gorilla, but I wouldn't give up. "My mom can't go to work today," I shouted and cried. I didn't want to lose her. "Let me rest only today," my mother begged the soldier. "I'll work harder tomorrow." "Do you know what will happen if you disobey me?" the soldier screamed. "Yes, I know. I beg you to let me rest just for this one day." The soldier gave in and gave my mother permission to stay home. I was so happy. My mother was safe for now, but others in Seoul were not as fortunate. Bombed Seoul for many days, and we received news that the UN troops were finally starting to defeat the communists. The communists started to destroy Seoul once they realized that they could no longer hold this city. They set fire to major buildings and dragged people from houses and killed them. The next morning, communists started to set fire to buildings in our neighborhood. I heard our neighbors screaming as the soldiers pulled them out of their homes one by one. The soldiers banged on our gates, but the thick wood and metal was too strong. My mother held all of us close and told us to stay hidden under the large dining room table. The communists couldn't break down our gates, so they threw a hand grenade over our walls. There was a loud explosion, and my house began burning. "We can't hide here anymore," my mother screamed. "We'll die because of the fire. Let's get out." There were flying metal fragments, so our mother gave us cotton blankets to cover our heads. I ran to my room to get my doll, Hia. My heart was pounding. I was so scared. I had a hard time breathing. "Hia, we have to go. I don't want you to die in a fire." "Sumi, throw that doll away right now," my sister Amy said. "Our whole family will get in trouble because the doll is from America." She grabbed my doll. "Sissy, look! I gave her a Korean dress and I brushed her hair straight and I patched it with a black cloth. Don't take her away," I said. "Okay then, but be careful." I hid Hia under my arms. We ran outside like mice. Our neighbors' houses were burning and dead bodies were scattered all over the field in front of our house. I walked carefully to avoid stepping on them. Their blood covered the ground. I dropped Hia on the street. "Oh no, Hia!" I bent down to get her, but suddenly a hand reached out and grabbed me. "Help me! I'm not dead yet," a man lying on the ground said. "Mommy!" I screamed. "Oh, you're just a little girl," the man said and released me. But I couldn't find my family. "Mommy!" At that moment, three soldiers rushed in and pointed rifles at me. "We know you're an anti-communist. Where's your family?" they said. I was so frightened I couldn't speak. I felt like I was falling into a hateful dark hole. My mother and siblings realized I had been left behind and rushed to find me. "Aha! We have the whole family here. Line up quickly," the soldier shouted. We stood in a line. My heart beat loudly. I thought it was the end of my life. I wanted to see my father one more time. He didn't know what was happening to us. I had to drop my doll because the soldiers made us hold our hands up. Tears ran down my face and I trembled. "Don't worry. God will send us his angels," my mother whispered. My mother's tender voice calmed me. I looked up to the sky. I wanted to see the angels coming down. 1, 2, a soldier counted. "Stop!" A woman said sharply. She had appeared suddenly. "Yes, sister, comrade, friend." They bowed to the woman. "Get out of here," she said to the soldiers. But they're anti-communist. "No!" She is my sister, and those children are my nieces and nephews. Get out of here right now and shut your mouths, understand? Yes, Sister Carmaid, friend. The soldier disappeared. The woman, the angel, was Ede Annie, the law student who had lived in our house. Flee toward the west gate, she told us. Ede Annie grabbed my mother's hand and pointed us in the right direction. She then disappeared quickly, knowing that she would be in trouble if other soldiers saw her helping us. I picked up Pia and shoved her into my coat pocket. My family and I ran towards the west gate. Chapter 6. The Fire. Mom, I can't breathe, June screamed. My mother was carrying my brother June on her back as we tried to flee from our neighborhood. The communists had set fire to all the important buildings in Seoul, and it spread rapidly from building to building, its long red tongue shooting through the sky, chasing us like an angry dragon. We ran, but the flames were faster, and in an instant, a wall of red fire and gray smoke cut us off in the road in front of us. We can't go any farther, my mother said. Ede Annie saved us from the firing squad, but now we're going to die in these flames, I moaned. Everybody sit on the ground, my mother said. Don't worry and calm down. We will be fine. I listened to my mother's instructions. The asphalt was hot, but I was able to catch my breath because there was less smoke closer to the ground. At that moment, a gust of wind pushed open a green door in a dark building next to us. That door looks familiar, I said to myself, and suddenly I realized I had played there before. This is my friend Minja's apartment building, I shouted at my mother. The building was long and ran parallel to the road, which was now blocked by flames. Minja and I had played hide-and-seek in the building many times, and I knew that there was a basement passageway. I know a way to go around the fire, I said, but we need to go into this building. But it's about to collapse, my brother Yun said. It had been a modern apartment. Minja and I had run around the rooftop and enjoyed the view of Seoul. But the building had been bombed and it was dark and dusty. I'm sure I can find the way, I said. Follow me. Sumi, where are you taking us? Yun asked. Don't take us in this horrible dark hole. How can we trust Sumi? Pyung said. She's going to lead us into trouble. Okay, then you're going to stay here. I'm going to make it, I said. The fire jumped toward us and the apartment building began burning. My mother put her faith in me. Sumi says she knows the way. Go ahead and we will follow you. I led my family inside the crumbling building. We were going into a dark hallway, but I felt confident and relaxed. The apartment building had been deserted for a long time and the mold smelled terrible. It made me nauseous, but it was much better than breathing in the black smoke. It had been a long time since Minja and I had played hide-and-seek in the apartment building. I liked to hide in the basement, even though the apartment manager scolded us and told us not to play there. But there was nobody in the building now, not even the manager. I miss Minja so much, I said. I hope Minja's okay. Don't worry, Sumi, Yumi said. A friend told me that most of the people who lived in this building escaped the bombings. I found the door leading to the basement. I went down the stairs, but it was so dark I had to move around like a blind person, groping the walls with my hands. It wasn't easy to find our way. If I get lost, my brothers will tease me forever, I thought. I closed my eyes tight and reopened them, and then soon my eyes began adjusting to the darkness. It had rained heavily in recent weeks, and the basement was flooded. I went down the last steps, and the water came up to my knees. We're in a huge well, Pyung said. Sumi had led us into a horrible big cave, Young said. My brothers were now going to have some fun with me. Yun, why don't we sail a boat? Pyung said. I should have brought a bathing suit, Yun said. I was scared, but I felt better that my brothers hadn't lost their sense of humor. I could tell from their jokes that they trusted me. Our family waded through the water in the darkness and made our way along a long basement corridor. I wondered whether I would be able to find the exit, the one that I had always used to run back outside and surprise Minja. I tried to find the old coal boiler. Look for a big metal boiler, I said. Behind it there's an exit towards the street. My family spread out in the darkness, squinting through the darkness and feeling the walls without hands. I found it! A big metal box! Yumi shouted. Yumi, feel along the wall behind it, I said. You'll find a wooden door. Unlock the crossbar and push it with all your strength. Okay, I found it, Yumi said. But it's stuck! My mother and Pyong rushed over and helped. Suddenly the door sprung open and a bright sunbeam flooded into the basement. Wow! We shouted. Bright sunshine! We hurried out from the dark basement and ran to the street. The fire was now behind us, and we hurried toward the west gate, following Eddie's orders. My mother reached out for my hand. Sumi, she whispered in my ear, I'm proud of you. We looked back at the flames behind us. I was a little girl, but my mother had trusted me. I was growing back up in the war.